Hello, I am Garrett Nickelsen from the band The Maine, and may the rock be with you.
G'day, sir. How are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you. Welcome to May the Rock be with you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Anytime. I love your band, so this is going to be great.
Awesome. Can't
Yeah,
wait.
nice. Now, we're, of course, here, mate, because you're headed back to Australia in September for the Sweet 16 shows for the tour here. Is amazing. When you do these, I'll call them birthday shows. Why not? As the catalog grows, how are the sets going to shape up for these shows?
It's fucking hard.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so Pat, our drummer, will usually come up with like a really big list of I don't know, 40 songs or something. And this tour is different because we have to play stuff off of everything.
Mm.
So sometimes there'll be a record or two that don't, usually get a song, but um it was just a big list of single or like a single and then like a different song to try and like give this song that you probably know off of it, but maybe another one that like maybe went under the radar a little bit.
Mm.
And it took forever to try to get right. And I think we got down to 25 songs. So it's a long set. But it's like an hour and a half. We cram it in pretty quick. So you're not going to be there for 3 hours and be like, oh my God, I want to leave.
Imagine that would be amazing. Now, is it fun though, in essence, to maybe relearn some of these songs that you haven't played for a long time? Is that a fun job in itself?
Oh, for sure. And like, sometimes, there's a couple things you can do, um, like a song like Numb Without You that we've played so many, like pretty much on every show since You're Okay came out. We were like, okay, we've done this a lot, and a lot of people have been like, okay, I've heard that song, I don't want to hear it. So we switch it a little bit to make it kind of a new feeling.
Mm.
Um, and for learning the old stuff, it's like learning a new song again. It's like some of it comes back quick. You're like, oh fuck, how are my hands doing this?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know why I remember this. And then sometimes you're like, I don't even know where to start, and that's also fun. Um, but yeah, it's a cool experience to like go back in the old catalog and be like, this song is not how I remember us doing it. And like, some songs we've done different versions for so long that it doesn't even sound like the recorded version, and kind of reattaching yourself to the original was a fun time too.
Yeah, cool. I only asked that because one of my favorite songs is yours off your debut album. It's a song called You Left Me, which I've always loved since it came out. You've never played it. And I asked John this last time before you were touring. He said he might, but you didn't do it. Can you play it?
uh, we'll try to figure it out. That would be a hard one because that's a super electronic
I
song.
know.
We've done it. We've done it. I think we've only played it one time in its actual form because we did Can't Stop in Full one time at one of our. We do a festival in Phoenix every other year called 8123 Fest. We did Can't Stop front to back, and we had to learn to do it the original way. And if I remember correctly, it was a nightmare.
Cool.
So, but we did an acoustic version of it on an acoustic tour, uh, like almost 15 years ago, or no, 10 years ago. And that was fun. So maybe we can pull out the alt version for you.
I'm just putting it in your
I'll
head. Just
ask.
putting the idea in there
I'll
for you.
ask.
All right, here we go. Now, I've seen you guys a number of times before. Your live show is always a spectacle. How important is the live aspect of the band to you?
Oh, it's great because it's chaos mode.
Yeah.
Like it's John goes off the rails, and we're trying to put the rails in front of him so that the train can go down correctly. But it's always fun, if we're in that like there's certain rooms and certain crowds that just like bring out that like ultra fun thing, that like makes you want to like someone will yell out a song, and if we just decide to play it in that moment, it can happen. It might not sound the best, but I think that's kind of the replacements fans in us to kind of like kind of bring a little chaos to it to make it exciting and kind of a one time show.
So that's how I get my song played. I'll yell it out in Sydney for you. That's what we do.
You might need a group of people, but it can maybe happen.
I can be pretty loud. Now, you've been to
Yeah.
Australia a number of times before. Do you have a favorite memory of coming down here?
Um, Yeah, I mean it's always so cool. The first time we did a Soundwave, right? That was the
Yep.
old festival. That
Yep.
was cool because that was the first time I ever came, and like those like it was we've never done a festival where it did like the festival and then like the side shows.
Mm.
Um, those were really cool, and we were in like we're gonna do whatever the fuck we want mode. And I remember us starting with a new song that no one knew.
Awesome.
uh, and then I think we did like three unreleased songs, and people liked it. It was cool. It was such. I remember those being like, I was like, why are we doing this? Playing like we could have played stuff off our first record and
Mm.
EPs and stuff, and we're like, we're gonna do something crazy, and decided to play a bunch of new songs, and
That's
people liked
great.
it. So it was. I think it gave us a little like, oh, maybe we could do whatever we want, and people are down.
That works for me. Now, I was introduced to you guys back in 2008 when I was in the States. My now ex-wife, her niece had your album, and I listened to it. I went, "This is amazing." I've been a fan since. So, looking back, what are some of your best memories of releasing "Can't Stop, Won't Stop"?
Well, everything was so new. It was like none of this had ever happened before. Like we had recorded Can't Stop in January of '08, and then we went right on tour, and we didn't stop for like a couple years. We just
Mm.
like it felt like everything we were in the van every hour of every day for 2 years straight. But the playing big shows for the first time, headlining for the first, all this stuff, and like that moment of like you're the cool kind of cool new band was like, we'd only been the four of us had only been in local bands for our entire lives, and all of a sudden you're in New York City and
Mm.
it's raining outside and you're dragging all your gear in to play a show, and this is John's first band, so like we're all just figuring out together at the same time, and didn't really know what to do, but feel like we navigated it okay, and like yeah, it was just so fun, and it was our dream forever, and then yeah, it was happening. It was like you couldn't even imagine. Yeah, it was
I
incredible.
love that. So let's look at your newest self-titled album that was released last year. How has the band's approach to songwriting and making albums evolved 9 albums in since sitting down to create the debut?
Every record's its own thing. I think there's like, someone will get a spark of something that like kind of pushes uh the songs into a certain feeling. Like early 2000s, whatever they post punk, I guess is what
Yeah,
they called it, was like
sure.
I don't those that feeling started to like come back to us. We grew up on a lot of that stuff. And that kind of dancey thing just felt really exciting. I think songs off our last record or the record before, Dirty Pretty Beautiful, like that kind of like dance party thing was super exciting
Mm.
to play live. And I think the live idea, because of post COVID. I mean, we did XOXO during COVID, and so we couldn't do shows. So that was just kind of like figuring it out. And then like as soon as shows started happening, it was like this kind of like, fuck yeah, I kind of want to just play some dance tunes.
Yeah, right.
Not that every song is dancey, but like that feeling kind of like dictated what we were gonna do. And then having our producer who's done a bunch of our records, Colby Wedgeworth, came back for the first time in a few albums, and just working with him again was just super fun. And we like he's our George Martin, I guess. Like he's
Awesome.
like our sixth, the Maine.
Mm.
Um, and so yeah, just working with him again and kind of getting that just I don't know, he just thinks of music in a different way than us and doesn't listen to the same stuff as us besides Third Eye Blind, and we kind of like come at things in a different way. And yeah, I think it was just exciting, kind of fun record to make. And um we knew we didn't want to make like, loved you a little was like a big tune for us, but we knew we didn't want to make a bunch of those songs. We had gone down that road for a second. It just felt like not cool. And so, yeah, this kind of like, yeah, dance, kind of dirty dance stuff was kind of exciting. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
I dig that stuff. Now, you've been on an almost constant 2 year cycle for albums. Has work begun on album number 10?
Kind of. Not album. Songs are starting to get floated around. John's in a really cool headspace right now. He's just like demoing stuff, and
Cool.
we'll be on tour, and he'll have his laptop and some speakers, and we're just kind of like working on stuff. And that's never been the case. Where like on tour, things are getting made. We're not even in the talks of when to make something, but there's songs being kind of like, yeah, tossed around, and it's been super cool and different again, which is kind of, I guess, our thing we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just feels fresh and yeah, when things change so much until you're actually doing the thing. So who knows? Maybe we'll make a an acoustic hip hop record next. Who knows?
You know what? Polka record or something. We'll, see what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Work.
There you go. Yeah, that's a great idea. I haven't done that yet.
All right, write it down. Now, you talk about change and you talk about that sort of stuff, but let's look back over your career because it can be very easy to say what can change. What's the one thing, though, that's always remained the same about the Maine?
Um, Willingness to explore, I think, has
Mm,
been our key. The fact that we want to try new stuff all the time. You know, Even me and Pat's old band when we were, in high school, like every song sounded completely different. I think that's just kind of in us to like do something new every time. We're lucky enough that John's such a unique singer for our kind of bands we're kind of put next to. That if his voice, we always say if his voice is on it, it's our song. So, and that kind of frees us up to do whatever. And like, anything from like alt country to, fucking super pop. It's like, it's all exciting and, want to try it all at some point. So, um, yeah, I think that's been the unique thing is just willingness to try new stuff and not being afraid of it.
yep, that works for me. I love that. Now, if there was ever a biopic to be made about the band, what would you want it to be called?
Uh, I mean, I guess 8123 would be good.
Hmm.
It makes you're like, if you don't know what it is, you're like, what the fuck is that? And if you know, then you're like, ooh, that's the crew. That's the, that's what they're doing. That's the spark behind the whole thing.
I like that. What about the main event, but spelt your way?
I like it more. There we
Hmm.
go. It's called the main event.
There you go. Let's do that. Now, lastly, let's look ahead to the future with a
We'll
prediction. I
send
do
we'll
this with
send you a
everyone.
percentage.
Oh, I'm into that. I heard that. That's on record. Let's look ahead to the future with a prediction. Finish this sentence for me. By the end of 2024, the main will.
Be tired.
Straight to the point. It's awesome. Garrett, thank you so much for your time, man. Can't wait to see you in Sydney again. Always a pleasure with the main.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, mate. See you next time.